I have a friend in common in Richard Nixon, and he went and saw Mao, and he went and saw Brezhnev. He met with everyone. He didn't agree with everyone, but he met with everyone. What do you think Kamala Harris would do in a meeting with Xi Jinping or Putin or Kim Jong-un?
Well, it wouldn't be her. She's just a front.
The closer and closer we get to Election Day, the more and more we see Donald Trump do two things. The first is any event in which he is speaking, which is never a good thing for Donald Trump. He is doing more rallies, more press conferences. And unfortunately for the interviewers interviewing him, he is doing more interviews. And the second thing that Donald Trump is doing more of is losing his mind in those first two things. Go together pretty poorly for Donald Trump, but pretty well for us. And it is exact what happened when Donald Trump did an interview with HUGHHEWITT just now that went so off the rails that it really stunned Hu. It even as a conservative MAGA radio host, he was pretty stunned with Donald Trump. And we talked about this the last time that Donald Trump went on HUGHHWITT's radio show, how it was so combative and angry. And I think some of that emotion carried over to this interview because Donald Trump was absolutely out of his mind, not only attacking VP Harris, as we can always expect with his lies and conspiracies, but really just shocking and interrupting Hugh Hewitt because he is losing it so much. And we are going to get into all of that. But before we do, if I could quickly ask you to leave a like on this video, and if you haven't already, and you enjoy our channel, hit that subscribe button and become a part of the community that we are building here. Now let's get into this first craze clip in which Trump is just jumping around a bunch of different topics as he loses his mind.
I think they don't believe anything she says. Everything she says is a liar. You know, it's a total lie. Look, she had one thing in her resume. It was a big deal. You know, I talk about it a lot because it's so simple for people to understand. I worked at McDonald's, she said. I worked there. Oh, it was so hard. It was so this. I worked there for so long. It was so terrible. She worked over the French fries. Okay, it was so terrible. The heat was so. She never worked there. Okay, that was one of many lies. Now, that was a sort of a, you know, it's bigger a lie than people think. What I like is it's so simple to understand. You know, a lot of her lies, you know, they go around, although she doesn't lie in a complicated way because her mind doesn't work that way. She's not a smart person. She's a low IQ individual, and this country can't have a low IQ person doing this for another 4 years. We had it for 4 years with him. We can't have a low IQ person. She's a stupid person. We can't have a stupid person as our president. There will be no fracking in Pennsylvania 100%. They'll keep the electric car mandate, which is the dumbest thing anyone's ever heard. All of the things that they want to do, but the worst of all that they're going to keep, well, we'll end up in World War III. Okay, that's probably
Would you please name your national security team like Grinnell and O'Brien and Cotton?
A lot of the people that you like are going to be there, okay? And I can name all the people that you like, and I like the same people. So you'll have those people, and you'll have more. And the beauty is what I got through, and I had a lot of great people. Lighthizer, I had so many great people.
Oh, Ashabila.
Some of the bad ones, it's nice. I know who they are. I know the good ones, the smart ones. I know the dummies. I know the weak ones. I know the people.
It seems to be a sticking point of his campaign to attack the work that she did as a college student and to really attack anyone who works at McDonald's, saying it's not that hard. I don't know why he's trying to do that, but obviously he's very upset that she's getting a little bit more McDonald's attention than he is. But then, like I said, Donald Trump, so all over the place, pivoting into national security, saying that he knows the best people now. That certainly wasn't the case during his first presidency. And as we always talk about his national security advisors, his former national security advisors have come out in mass numbers to talk about what a danger he is. And of course, that connects to the thing he said about VP Harris, that he continues to this accusation that she has a low IQ complete projection from Donald Trump. He knows that he is a dumb person. His former national security advisors know that he is a dumb and dangerous person. And so it's the thing he continues to bring up, saying that Kamala Harris or Tim Walz have a low IQ, because he knows that is true of himself, because every Republican an accusation is really an admission about them. But I talked about how much crazed Donald Trump has gotten, how much more craze he has gotten, and that couldn't be clear in what he said right here. Some of the grossest statements Donald Trump has ever made in this clip.
She wants to go into government housing. She wants to go into government feeding. She wants to feed people. She wants to feed people governmentally. She wants to go into a communist party type system. When you look at the things that she proposes, they're so far off. She has no clue. How about allowing people to come through an open border, 13,000 of which were murderers? Many of them murdered far more than one person, and they're now happily living in the United States. You know, now a murderer, I believe this, it's in their genes, and we got a lot of bad genes in our country right now. They had 425,000 people come into our country that shouldn't be here, that are criminals.
We have already seen comments from Donald Trump like poisoning the blood of the country, referring to immigrants in our country, but saying that we have bad genes. That is some Nazi-level propaganda and rhetoric. They're being pushed by Donald Trump. Bad genes really had genetics. It is just terrifying. The type of rhetoric that he is pushing in an attempt to fearmonger as much as he possibly can in this election. And it should really scare us all, considering the ways we've seen him rouse his base to political violence and what he is already doing in an effort to subvert or sow doubt about this upcoming election. We need to be scared, especially when Trump is saying stuff like this.
I have a friend in common in Richard Nixon, and he went and saw Mao, and he went and saw Brezhnev. He met with everyone. He didn't agree with everyone, but he met with everyone. What do you think Kamala Harris would do in a meeting with Xi Jinping or Putin or Kim Jong-un?
Well, it wouldn't be her. She's just a front. There are some vicious communists and vicious fascists and Marxists that are involved in our country. Let me tell you, we have the enemy from within. The enemy from within are bad people in our government, and you see them on occasion.
This isn't the first time that Donald Trump has decided that VP Harris is a communist or a Marxist or a fascist or a socialist or all of those things at once, but saying that she is a front for the Communist Party, saying that she's a front for communism, when it is only Donald Trump who is taking orders from other country. Clearly his buddy Putin, who, give him a little pat on the head, make Donald feel all good about himself because he loves his dictators. He'll do anything for his dictators, especially Putin. But again, this is just the projection that we out of Donald Trump. This is the ridiculousness as he continues to unravel, and we saw some of that unraveling directed at Jewish Americans. When Donald Trump was asked about anti-Semitism and took a different approach than most people would to answering the question. But let's take a look.
Israel would be good. I think Israel has to do one thing. They have to get smart about Trump, because they don't back me. I did more for Israel than anybody. I did more for the Jewish people than anybody. And it's not a reciprocal, as I say. Not reciprocal.
I think your numbers are rising with Jewish Americans. They may not say it out loud, but I think they're rising, Mr. President.
But we should have 100%, and I'll never hit that, but we should have 100%.
Donald Trump is asked about anti-Semitism, and he responds, one, by attacking Jewish Americans, and then two, by saying they're not nice enough to him. That is textbook Donald Trump narcissism. Not surprising, it's expected doesn't mean it's any less gross or disgraceful. But we have seen Donald Trump do this over and over again. It seems to be his go-to message, saying that the Jewish people or any Jewish people who don't vote for him should have their head examined, and coming off some previous comments he's made. Yeah, not shocking, of course. Always gross, though. And the same can be applied. When Donald Trump was asked about Jack Smith and the recent evidence unsealed in his D.C. case about January 6th right here.
Notices?
And the judges, too, because the judge should have never let that come out. It was all nonsense anyway. It's just like the other one. Remember the Florida case? They said, that's the biggest case, the biggest case. I won it in totality. It's done. That was the biggest case. I'm winning these things all over. It's pure election interference. Here's the only thing good about it. The public really gets it. My question was, will they get it? They have weaponized the Justice Department, never done before in this country. It's done in third world countries and banana republics. They've weaponized the Justice Department, and the public gets it. And the Supreme Court got it, too.
The corruption from Trump in the MAGA world, the corruption of the Supreme Court, the corruption of Donald Trump's judges is never surprising, but certainly needs to be called out. And the same way that we need to call out this manic nature of Donald Trump that continues to escalate only more and more, how he completely just is crumbling at this point, is someone who did a great job calling that out, was our friends at the Lincoln Project.
Donald Trump is a broken man, terrified of Kamala Harris. Shaky, scared, weak. He's a chicken. Limp, old, tired, and impotent. He's lost his edge, his mojo, all that power he once had, and he knows the end is coming. The final days of his campaign are nothing but a sleazy, desperate grab for cash and nothing more. He's hiding from Kamala. He won't debate her. He knows what happened last time.
They're eating the cats. They're eating the pets.
If Trump can't even face his political opponents, there's no way he can stand up against Vladimir Putin, Iran, and ISIS. And there was never a chance he'd stand up for you.
Donald Trump has never been a strong man. He wants to project strength. He, of course, acts like a mob boss, but he is not a strong person. He is a weak and insecure person, but that is only getting worse and worse. Donald Trump only continues to crumble more and more, and he was never a leader before, but of course, he is more so incapable of being one now. And of course, he's just so willing to sell us out on the world stage that we need to talk about that every single day. Because not only is he a teach domestically, but globally as well. And we need to call that out. And we're going to on this show. And if you want to support that, as always, you can hit that subscribe button, leave a like on this video, and if you stuck around to the end, drop a blue heart in the comments. And until next time, I'll see you soon.